What is going on, FA Nation? John and Pemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook live show. It is Thursday. We have a 7-game DraftKings main slate on tap for us here. We had a couple of games early for some day baseball. We got another game about to start right now as well, but not to worry for this main slate. Just 7 games for us here. Weather concerns. We had some games earlier last night that we were watching. What's Chicago looking like right now, Grande?
Should be fine.
Should be fine. Okay, so no major weather concerns here.
There's a delay potentially there, and it's 100 degrees in Sacramento.
Yes, we highlighted this exact game on the Monday show. Mm-hmm. We're like, Thursday is going to be 100 degrees in Sacramento, so we'll see what happens there. So far, each team is taking turns beating up the other team. So we'll see who takes the swings here this evening. We do appreciate all of you guys who tune in. If you want to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, it's a free way to support the work we do here over at Fantasy Alarm. If you want to try us out, we got a 7-day free trial going on as well. fantasyalarm.com/win. If you use promo code Let's Go, you'll get that first month for less than $20. That gives you access to all of our fantasy football content, including our draft guide and cheat sheet, which is live right now. So if you're getting ready for fantasy football leagues, now's the time to sign up. Get that 7 days free and get that first month for less than $20. Grande, ownership-wise, we kind of talked about how bad pitching was on the preview show, and we had hoped maybe somebody new would pop up. That didn't happen. Spencer Strider, though, is your highest rostered pitcher, almost 50% today.
Yep.
In a game that's 100 degrees in the best offensive ballpark in baseball, are you pitching Spencer Strider today?
I think this is a tough one because I want to pitch Spencer Strider today. And if you look at a lot of the A's numbers, there's a lot of really good stuff on the Strider front. They have a 25% strikeout rate over the last month against righties. They're 19th in OPS and WOBA. They're 22nd in WRC+. The problem is they're 9th in ISO in a small ballpark. So, I am understanding why people are getting here. Strider is a better pitcher than he's shown. The velocity was back up last start. He generated a boatload of whiffs, the most he's had all year. So I'm good with it on a small slate. If you just want to play the talent, then you just play the talent.
Okay. Obviously, on a smaller-ish middle-sized slate, fading him, gives you some tournament leverage. But like you said, talent-wise, ridiculous. That gives us Bryan Woo, who we thought was going to be the highest rostered pitcher on the slate. He's half the ownership. As you mentioned there, Yankees offense is coming alive, so maybe a reason that people are looking to avoid that. And then for value plays, Logan Allen, Eduardo Rodriguez are the two guys in the mid-range that many are looking at today.
Yeah, we'll before we get down there, we'll go price-wise. The Woo stuff is interesting, obviously. He's a great pitcher. He's thrown at least 6 innings in every start he's made this year. The problem, and this is, I think, why a lot of people are gravitating to Strider. As you mentioned, the Yankees offense has been good.
Yeah.
He does have a little bit of a lefty issue, and the fly ball rate in Yankee Stadium is super scary. I mean, he's over 40% to both lefties and righties. That is not typically where you want to be in a smaller ballpark. You can get away with that in Seattle. You cannot get away with a 40% fly ball rate in New York. Lefties have a 190 ISO. Meet Jazz Chisholm, who's one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Meet Cody Bellinger, who has a 15-game hit streak. Meet Grisham and Dominguez, who are on the Yankees are throwing a lot of lefties today, and that's been the one split that has really killed Bryan Woo. And oh, by the way, Aaron Judge is the righty that you have to worry about. So even then, there's no break in the lineup. So I do I think Woo has the tougher matchup. Obviously, there's leverage going to him over Strider, but I think Strider's matchup is easier. Just the environment is much worse. 100 degrees in a small ballpark. So it's splitting hairs. I can see a scenario where either of them have 30 fantasy points and both of them have 5. Like there's a scenario for both. I think when we just like go down the list, Michael
Yep.
Soroka is fine-ish.
Henry says he's going overlooked today. What do we think about this matchup against the Cardinals?
The problem with the matchup against the Cardinals is that they don't strike out a lot, and that would be the concerning part. Over the last month, they just have a 20% strikeout rate, and they're an offense that you can attack. They're much worse than they were earlier in the year. Over the last month, 15th in OPS and WRC plus, 16th in WOBA, so very middle of the pack. But a 20% strikeout rate against righties is just like doesn't leave you much upside. And now there's not a lot of spots on the slate that have like massive strikeout rates. Like Washington doesn't strike out at all against righties. Tampa Bay doesn't strike out against righties. Boston strikes out a lot, but they're top 10 in every category against righties over the last month. San Diego doesn't strike out. There's not a lot of like elite strikeout spots. So if you want to just attack St. Louis because they've struggled, you can.
Sure.
The one thing I'd say, obviously, like Soroka does have some massive blow up potential. We've seen it a couple times. He has missed bats. He does have some pretty good peripheral numbers. Lefties do have a 254 ISO against him. So that's a little scary when you're facing St. Louis. 254 ISO is like a big number, big number.
Yeah.
When, we talk about the Cardinals are pretty lefty heavy at the top of their lineup. So kind of indifferent about it. I wouldn't say he's really going overlooked. I think you just put him in, he's in like the pile of pitchers that you could make a case for, which is basically every pitcher, because there's not one that you're like, yep, that guy's great.
Yeah. I did a lot of pick'em props today on Logan Allen and the over strikeouts for him. It was like 4 and 4.5, depending on like where you were. That felt viable versus the White Sox here. Cam the Man saying he thinks Sears is interesting given how Springs pitched versus the Yankees, versus the Braves. Sears, as you highlighted, back-to-back really good starts for him against the Yankees and the Giants. Listen, last year, Sears was like a very viable streaming starting pitcher. This year, he has been terrible.
He pitches in Sacramento.
He pitches in Sacramento.
He doesn't pitch. He did not last year. He does this year.
But he's been, this has been, I guess he's been as good on the road this year as usual. He's been atrocious, obviously, on the road. At home here. I'm not, his like earn run props like 3.5 today. I just, I don't want to bet on Atlanta not hitting Sears just because they didn't hit Springs.
I definitely agree with what you're saying. I don't think it's apples to apples. Like, I don't think you can just, but the larger picture is that the Braves do struggle against lefties, whether the name on paper say they shouldn't, they have. I mean, it's just, we can sit here and say like, well, look at all this talent. They have all these players and they're still the dead last in their own division. So like, there's a reason that is. And it's scary, but I don't think there's much of a difference, like, or a significant enough difference in like Logan Allen versus like all these other value pitchers, because Logan Allen has a 6K per 9. Logan Allen is not a good pitcher. He has a 5 xFIP and almost a 5 Sierra, like 44 or 40% fly ball rate against a team that actually does. I don't think there's a big enough difference. The only difference is the White Sox, but
that's what it is. Yeah.
It's not like the Braves are a high octane offense against lefties. They just have name value, but that name value hasn't necessarily panned out. So I'm good with Logan Allen and I think it's fine, but like, I'm also a little skeptical about the strikeouts for a guy who's just continuously gotten worse year over year in that department. I mean, he's rookie year, 22% strikeout rate, 2024, 18%. This year, it's down. You can round up to 18. The swinging strike rate is horrible, 7%. So I think just baseline, he's playing the White Sox, so you can do it. But like, I also think on a slate like this, you can just be different. Like Henry saying Soroka and Can the Man saying Sears. And there's like,
Yeah.
there's no
Nobody is
definitive
playing.
answer.
Yeah. Sears is the lowest rostered starting pitcher today at 1%.
Yeah.
Erod, which we've talked about, has usually been like our value strikeout play. He's 8K. He is getting 20% of the ownership. He has a matchup against the Padres, an offense that like another one we're like on paper, we're like, oh man, I don't know if it's the Padres. They have Tatis and Merrill and Machado, and you go down the line, and then you kind of look at their overall numbers, and like they kind of suck. Like there's a few good players in their lineup, right? But like on a whole, the Padres are once again kind of underwhelming with their talent.
Yeah, I mean, I think Erod is fine because there's a ceiling, but we saw last time out, like there's a big floor too. I mean, like this has been a bad split for Fernando Tatis this year. If you look at some of the numbers, he has only hit righties this year.
I feel like that's been the thing with him too. Like I feel like he's just been a guy that actually just hits righties.
Yeah, reverse splits. I mean, he has an 087 ISO and a 247 WOBA. I mean, that is atrocious. Then you have Araz. Machado's good against lefties. Sheets, Bogarts. Dude, there's one player in their lineup with a WOBA above 315.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like on paper, you'd look at the Padres lineup and be like, man, there's some hitters there. And then the numbers just aren't there for them. And Arizona, a favorite today. So some win equity involved, on their side here as well. So even if Erod doesn't go out and have like the biggest start, as Henry says, is it possible no pitcher has 20 fantasy points today?
It's possible.
Certainly possible.
I'll take the over. I'll take the over half of pitcher.
Over half, yeah. I would say a couple probably get there. But I don't think anyone's going to go for 35 today.
That is upside of the top two.
Sure.
Despite the matchups, that is in the range of outcomes for the top two.
20% is playing Taj Bradley against Boston today. Again, Bradley has been very bad. Boston's offense has been one of the best in baseball now for a couple of weeks. Granted, mostly versus left-handed pitching and some really bad pitching at that. But Taj Bradley's been bad. So how much credit are we going to give him versus the Red Sox lineup right now? And, as much as we joke about, Yoshida, he did have 3 hits in his return and is a guy that's a 285 career major league hitter, and their lineup's out today. They have Roman Anthony, they have Duran, they have Rafaela back. Like lineup kind of looks decent for guys that are hot right now. So I'm not jumping at the bit to play Taj Bradley, even as a Red Sox fan here.
It's a weird season for Taj Bradley. Super weird because you look at all the expected stuff and it's way, way better.
Yeah.
Velocity's the same. He's not missing as many bats and generating as many strikeouts, and that's obviously been the concern. But
all being put in play.
All the expected stuff is way, way better. I don't know. I just probably would save 200 and play Erod in that.
That's how I feel. Again, Logan Allen, Patrick Corbin against the Angels. No one's really playing a lot of these guys here. So, do you have a favorite of sort of the rest of the bunch? Jonathan Cannon, I lied, is actually getting 18%. You mentioned obviously Cleveland's general struggles here.
Yeah, dead last against righties over the last month. We were saying that about lefties. Now it's against righties.
Is everybody?
Well, Jose Ramirez hit a home run against a lefty for 3 straight days, so then that at least bumped them up a little bit. Jonathan Cannon is horrible. Horrible. I'd almost rather play Guardians, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
We built with a Guardian in our lineup last night.
Yeah, well, we built with the good Guardian, right? Oh no, we use Angel.
Yeah.
So 1.5. They have 1.5 good Guardians.
Back-to-back games.
2.5 if you include Quan against a righty. So they have like 2.5 good Guardian. There's like 2.5 good ones.
Michaelis is getting 11%. People are just throwing darts.
I would say Corbin if I'm The Michaelis one is interesting because the Nats have been bad against righties over the last month. I don't think I can go there because it's Miles Michaelis. And the Guardians or the Nationals over that last month have only struck out 17% of the time against righties. So I think it would probably be Corbin. And the only merit to getting to Corbin are the strikeouts. He's actually facing an offense that strikes out. The Angels strike out a bunch. They also have a top 5 ISO over the last month against lefties. So
yeah, Angels lineup out too. Pretty much the usual suspects all in there. So not like we have backups that we can target.
Yeah. Hitting Trout second tonight is different.
Sure, 2 home runs.
Ward 3, Adele 4, Soler 5. Moncada 6, so no Shanuel. Ohapi has a pretty good lineup. It's a lot of righties. First 8 guys are righties. Oh, Jesus. Patrick Corbin's in trouble.
It's not great. It's not going to be great. Again, I mean, we know this. We know there's a chance that the SP2 tonight is going to blow up. Anthony says Wu and Strider are going to smash. And also likes Allen. Yeah, I like Allen too, I think.
He said Allen or Strider.
Oh, Allen or Strider. Okay.
I think he's asking. Because he's asking questions.
We can lock in for 30 plus. Also, Allen or Strider.
Ramirez is more consistent. That he's saying Jose Ramirez is going to get 30. Do we really want to play Austin Riley and Allen or Strider?
Sure, makes sense. Anything else here at pitching?
No, but I'll answer those questions. Ramirez over Riley and Strider over Allen.
Let's do catcher. Cal Raleigh, $6,300, your top guy. Hey, Ben Rice back in the lineup. Good for probably a bad day to be Ben Rice in the lineup against Brian Wu, but John.
Now, lefties, and is the thing for you want to target Brian Wu with.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, dude, I put it in our group chat. I'm like, this man hasn't played in 5 games. It's just like a full StatCast thing of red.
Wells is has been really good. So it's been hard for him to.
I know. From an ownership perspective, though, Cal Raleigh, no shocker. Sean Murphy, Carlos Narvaez are your top 3.
Yeah, I like those players.
You like those players, okay. Where else are we looking to go catcher them?
Austin Wells, Logan Ohapi, Cuero if you're not playing Allen.
Yeah, value play for Cuero, $2,800. That's probably it as well. It's a short position for us. First base, top owned player, first base, Matt Olson. Then Josh Smith and Abraham Toro getting ownership again.
He's hitting third. So.
He is hitting third, and it's the right split side for him today.
You could play Olson. You could play Kurtz. I called the Yandy first pitch home run tonight. Not changing my tune there. Walker Buehler gives up a lot of home runs to righties. Romy apparently is just the best player in the world. You could play him. I'd rather play him at second, though. Naylor looks really good. Arizona going with a boatload of lefties at the top of the lineup against a lefty. Darno's not playing, Anthony. Aranda, 4,500, looks good. He's raking every day.
I'm all in on the Aranda. I took the over 1.5 total bags for this guy today.
Yeah, the lefties are hitting for better average, and the righties are hitting for more power.
And only slightly, right? It's still 2 homers per 9 for lefties. It's just
I think it's pretty. I think there's a pretty significant difference.
Let's see the difference. Let's pull it up.
It's definitely over 2 for righties, and I don't think
2.5 for righties we looked at yesterday. Lefties 490 slug, 396 WOBA, 1.4. Yeah, right. Well, last year was 1.9 for lefties, 1.4 homers per 9 this year. They are hammering him though.
Righties just all power.
All power. Yeah, righties are hitting just 216. Still a 480 slug and a 340 WOBA, no batting average for them there. All right. So we got that grouping. Value plays at first for you?
Would like to mention Josh Smith 42 as well. I think he's a good play. Lefties against Kahanowitz, over 2 home runs per 9 innings to lefties. Miguel Vargas 3,400. Toro is the obvious chalk. And Manzardo's back with the Guardians.
Yeah,
we will see if he is. I'm assuming that means he's in the lineup. I don't think we've gotten the Guardians lineup yet.
Sure.
But I would punt with Manzardo, especially if you're playing like Ramirez and I wanted a 2-man stack. I think Manzardo makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the power that he presents, obviously at under $3,000, will fit a lot of builds there. Second base position, Ozzie Albies is again drawing ownership. Brendan Donovan and Marcus Semien is your top 3 there for ownership plays. Kind of spread across the pricing. Ketel Marte's your top price guy. Jazz Chisholm, $5,500. Romy's still in the lineup, playing second tonight, but down $4,700.
Yeah, Marte looks great against Vasquez if they score enough runs to avoid their good arms in the bullpen. Jazz is hammering everybody, and Wu has had a little bit of a home run problem to lefties specifically, 190 ISO. Mentioned Romy at first. Brendan Donovan, I think, looks pretty good against Soroka. Lefties against Soroka is the split. I don't love righties against Kahanowitz, but Semien obviously fits a Texas stack because he hits in the middle of the lineup, and he's been good lately. I'm not playing Ozzie Albies.
Like I said that to you yesterday. I was like, I will let the field play that man. I will not play that guy. Any other values? Play Meyer here. We talked Martinez if he's in the lineup at 3K.
Polanco 3,600 hit a nuke yesterday. Has a couple home runs lately. Stroman's really struggling against lefties. It's a small sample, but he's really struggling against lefties this year.
Time to pick him back up. Maybe is Polanco getting going?
Polanco maybe getting going. I don't mind Angel Martinez, as we talked about last night, although he's obviously hit better from the right side of the plate versus the left side of the plate, but I guess we'll see where he hits in the lineup. Marcelo Mayer's in the lineup. He's fine. Cole Young in the lineup. I think he's also fine. He's been pretty average to like subpar, but again, lefties against Stroman in play, and it's a cheap option especially if you're like double spending up a pitcher because you just don't want to bother testing any of the value plays, because all the value, there's no guarantee any of the value plays are any good. So if you play Cole Young, it helps you get the pitching.
Sure. Going over to third base again. There's Jose Ramirez here. It's a smaller slate, as we expected. Austin Riley is your highest rostered play, $4,400, lefty on the mound, 100 degrees. Many people like the Braves this evening, so you got him. Josh Smith to the dual positional eligibility, and then Ramirez is your top 3 guys.
Yeah. Love Ramirez. No problems going there. Jazz is good. I love Junior Caminero in tournaments today. I was looking at the Walker Buehler data today. And Walker Buehler, most thrown pitch against righties this year has been a fastball.
Yeah.
Against his fastball, he has allowed to right-handed bats a 700 ISO. That is a real number for the most thrown pitch. That is not including a sinker or a cutter, because I know those are classified as fastballs as well. That is separate. The most thrown pitch to righties. And when I was looking at the data, his last start, his fastball, his knuckle curve, and the cutter were the 3 most thrown pitches that he used. That's a really bad. Junior Caminero against fastballs this year against right-handed pitching has a 444 ISO.
So you bet the home run? Is that what you're saying?
If I was in a state to do it, I would. Yes.
Okay. You can bet it on, play it on the pick'ems. You just got to pair it with something else.
Yes, I could. I think that the Rays look awesome in tournaments, and Caminero's at the front of the line. And I know it's like it's a contrarian tournament play because Ramirez looks so good, and Austin Riley is cheaper than Caminero, so it just makes everything tie together much nicer using like Riley. But I think your tournament play is easily Caminero. We've been saying it for a few weeks. For those that haven't or just tuning in for the first time, he dominates righties.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that, 17 of his 22 home runs have come against right-handed pitching.
This is a guy that got out to a slow start, and then the home runs just started coming.
They didn't, and they haven't stopped. So I think it's a great spot against a guy who allows just a lot of home runs to a split. So I love Ramirez, and I think Riley is also great. Jazz, whatever. Jazz is great. We can play him in a second. I think Caminero is the best tournament play of all of them.
Caminero's ownership coming in under 10% today. So you're pivoting off of Riley, spending obviously a little bit more on Junior Caminero, but for lower ownership. And if that home run comes through, we're looking pretty good. Value wise, you can play Toro here. Rengifo is getting some ownership, even though he's hitting 8th tonight. Then you called out Paul DeJong. He's sitting right there as well, just $2,300.
Yeah, he's just been a little better when he's played, which he is obviously doing tonight. He is playing. Miles Michaelis been pretty terrible against both splits and pretty lucky against righties as well. 170 ISO, 213 expected ISO, 281 BABIP, suggesting pretty good batted ball luck because he doesn't miss any bats. 16% striker rate against righties, so like everything's in play and just everything's hit at somebody. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it. Just like if you need more value, DeJong's there.
Sure. Shortstop position, yeah, but your top Zach Nato, highest roster shortstop projected for tonight around 20%. Corey Seager, JB Crawford round out the top 3.
Yeah, so I think Abrams looks good at the top. I think Nato looks great at the top. We already talked about how they're running so many lefties out there, or so many righties against a lefty. Lefties against Kahanowitz, death taxes, lefties against Kahanowitz. And the scorching hot Corey Seager. Corey Seager, gets hurt a lot, and I feel like people forget how good he is. He is so good at baseball when he is healthy. I mean, this is a 2-time World Series MVP. Or did he win it with the Dodgers? He's a 2-time World Series champion, and he won the MVP with the Rangers, right?
Yep.
Or did Evan Carter win the World Series MVP?
No, I think it was Seager.
It was Seager, right?
I think so. I'll tell you something.
He might be a 2-time World Series MVP.
2-time, you think? Let's see. 2 times World Series MVP. That is correct. 2020, 2023.
Yeah, I thought he won it with the Dodgers. Like he is an elite baseball player in a really good spot against Kahanowitz, who struggles against lefties. So absolutely no issues getting there. 4,500 is probably $1,000 too cheap in this matchup and with the way he's playing. Perdomo coming off the grand slam last night. Of course, they don't register. I think it's really funny to see Geraldo Perdomo with 60 RBIs. That is actually crazy.
It's a lot of RBIs for that guy right there.
It's a lot of RBIs. A lot of them came last night. Story, probably you said Bradley's a fast thrower. That's probably too fast for him.
I don't think this is a good spot for Story tonight. Unless he throws a bad breaking ball to him. That's about his only chance, I think, here.
I think there's 2 really good value plays. One is JP Crawford, the aforementioned. He's getting ownership. Good ballpark for his swing, doesn't need to crush one, and he doesn't really, but he's been really good for Seattle. Never going to steal a base for a leadoff hitter, but he is, has a lot of good run scoring potential in this game. And I think Ha-Seong Kim is a super interesting play tonight. We've talked a lot about Tampa to this point. He's hitting 5th. I love that position for Ha-Seong Kim, considering what we've talked about for Walker Buehler. Like, Walker Buehler allows a lot of power to righties. Ha-Seong Kim is like a pretty powerful, speedy dude. So like, I know Narvaez is good behind the plate, but like Kim benefits from the power split, and he benefits if he gets on and he'll run. I mean, he's already ran in the 3 games he's played. So I think between Crawford and Kim, there's a lot of really good value plays right here in the mid tier.
Yeah, I agree. And Kim's another guy getting around 10%. I'm good there. You can play DeYoung all the way down here again, as we talked about. Anything else for you?
Nope.
All right, outfield we go. Obviously, Ronald Acuna is here. He, Ozuna, top 2, Soler, Profar, the usual suspects. I think it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of the top 8 today are Angels or Braves. So.
Yeah. Ronald and his bad back, homering twice, hitting one out of the stadium. Absolutely no issue getting there. Super popular, as you mentioned. I can't really go wrong. I probably don't play Tatis because he can't hit lefties.
Yeah.
But I think there's basically an argument for every other player.
I mean, you're getting like a 2% James Wood tonight. Right?
Yeah,
like,
he's maybe he is the breakout star of the season, right? Like is that a fair?
Yeah, once I challenged him to be better, he listened and he took off, Lefties have a 526 slug, 300 average, and Michaelis is allowing 2 homers per 9.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's
so,
really bad.
As I said with Judge the other day, is like a 5% play. I think James Wood is where I would go. Now, Judge is also 5% today. No one's playing him either because everybody's just paying up for Acuna. And Trout, actually, Trout's getting ownership tonight. And Corbin Carroll. So that's where people are deciding to spend their money. If you want a 5% Judge or maybe a more appealing 5% James Wood here, I like both of those plays.
It's a good shout, Mark. PCA probably has Wood beat, but it's close. That's fair. Because Wood was expected and PCA was not. At least offensively.
PCA was traded by the
Mets. Yeah,
and the reason they traded him, they said, was because they didn't think he would ever project a hit for power.
I agree. Not going to hit for power. Never. He's never going to hit for power.
That's what the Mets. They asked the Mets GM at the time why they dealt PCA, and they said we liked his defense. We knew he was fast. We did not project him to ever hit for power.
Do you know what the most important thing you just said was?
Mets GM?
No. After that, at the time.
At the time.
That GM no longer exists because
that's fair.
Because of that quote. Yeah, I like the James Wood call. I think J-Rod looks pretty good. Randy book a home run. I mean, not only as long as the Mariners don't face Tim Hill and Devin Williams, the rest of the Yankees bullpen can't get outs.
Yeah.
So whether Randy hits a home run off Stroman or someone in the bullpen, it's probably coming. So Randy looks great. He homers every day. He's like, oh yeah, I'm good at baseball. I could do that. Bellinger, I think, is a little bit interesting. He has a 15-game hitting streak going right now. It's the second 15-game hitting streak he's had this year. And Brian Wu has had a lefty problem. Bellinger has some speed. There's some power. He has just been awesome. So he's hitting fourth. Josh Lowe, John, another more pitching data because I'm all in on Tampa Bay today.
Sure. I'm with you too, by the way. Walker Buehler is terrible.
You have been on this from the jump, but the most thrown pitch, as I mentioned, was the cutter. Yeah. Last start, cutter, knuckle curve. Those pitches,
I think it's a new organizational philosophy is the throw
cutter,
cutters,
so. The cutter, right? Yeah. So Josh Lowe this year has a 400 ISO against cutters.
Yeah,
which makes sense because when you're throwing a cutter from the right side, it's coming over the plate to a lefty, especially if you're not locating. That's right over the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
So there might be a cutter that leaks over the plate that Josh Lowe hammers for a home run.
The idea of the cutter versus a lefty is to jam the hand.
Jam them. Yes. If you don't jam them, it's going out of the park.
right in the middle of the plate.
It's like, Walker, just don't throw that pitch again, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a 400 ISO against cutters. That's Walker's second most thrown pitch this year to lefties. The fastball is number 1. Shocker. That has a 226 ISO attached to it as well. So
he's supposed to throw a changeup to lefties.
No, has not thrown a changeup in 2 starts.
No, I know, but I'm saying like that's usually the right-handed pitcher's out pitch to a lefty. It
doesn't have it. From them. doesn't have it anymore.
Doesn't have it. He just
yeah. He is doomed in this start. I am.
This might be it because Tanner Houck has actually had 2 really good starts. I know Tanner Houck hasn't been good, but Tanner Houck actually pitched really well in his last 2 rehab outings, including apparently hitting 100 miles an hour on the radar gun, which is something he hadn't done previously at the major league level. He topped out at like 97. So they've kept him on the IL for like 2 months, and Walker Buehler's been asked the entire time. There's a chance that they might flip-flop IL stints or, a DFA. Yeah, something like that might occur coming out of the break here.
Well, the Red Sox have a lot of money available to them in recent weeks, so they could just DFA him and eat that money.
The revelation, not to completely sidetrack the show, was the Red Sox tried to sign Walker Buehler to a 3-year deal, and he rejected it to sign a 1-year deal.
I'm a bet on myself.
Bet on himself. Whoops. Classic bet on yourself.
Shout out Nerlens
Noel dropping the bag. Sox tried to lock him up for 3 seasons.
Whoops.
Thank you. I forget where we were, but I would.
Well, you could speaking of Sox, you could play all 3 of them right here.
The Red Sox outfielders. Yeah.
Evan
Williams,
Carter,
Duran, Robin Anthony.
Carter looks really good. 44 lefties there look great. Newt Barr.
Sedan's 41.
Sedan. Taylor Ward, 42, hitting 3rd. Dude, Joe Adell hitting 4th. Hitting 4th, 41. This dude's been awesome. He's just been awesome. Just good. Shout out to Joe Adell.
Shout out to Adell. You're early on him. Dominguez leading off. Ozuna did homer after I said
he did. He has one hip. He still hit. It's a minor league park. He can get enough torque on the hips to hit one out.
Yeah. Anything else for you there?
Profar is in the lineup. You have the duo of White Sox outfielders if you want to be contrarian. Death taxes Austin Slater against lefties. Just sees lefties well. Luis Robert. What happened?
Where's Slater's probably right there?
He's hitting second tonight. Luis Robert hitting 6th. Soler in the lineup. He's fine. Angel Martinez we talked about. I still don't think the last time we still haven't got a Guardians lineup. I wonder if that's a Manzardo thing. I know Manzardo's back, but acclimating him. I assume we'll get Eli White in the lineup tonight. 3K. Mastroboni, McCarthy are value plays. It's all kind of. Michael Taylor has a 200 ISO against lefties this year.
Yeah, dude, that's been the Taylor career since he's been with Washington. So.
It's him and Slater, right? Those dudes have the White Sox have a bunch of players that aren't other teams because they can only do one thing and they only do this thing. They only hit left.
Imagine they still had Romy Gonzalez on their team.
True. That's true. John, Austin Slater this year, 261 ISO against lefties, 294 expected ISO against lefties. Michael Taylor, 257 ISO against lefties, 279 expected ISO against lefties. It's so funny. Tampa literally have screamed at you all show about playing Tampa Bay.
There's 2 Tampa guys in the lineup that I'm currently building.
We from the rooftops have screamed Tampa Bay all show.
Yeah. What are we doing for pitching? What are we doing for pitching?
I mean,
are we playing Erod?
I think Erod is fine for sure. I think Erod is the guy that could get us the most depth in of start. If it's not chalk Logan Allen.
I said, are we doing Erod Allen or are we doing Erod Strider?
I mean, we could do Erod Allen or Erod, one of the top 2. I don't care. I mean, Brian Woo's the best pitcher on the slate. Yeah. Strider, I think, Strider has the better matchup. It's just 100 degrees in a windy ballpark that is small,
What do you? What's our value? Where's our value today?
Either
is it Martinez?
Hassan Kim or
Kim
Crawford? One of those 2.
I like the Kim McPhill with the Tampa Bay stack. Do we do Martinez here? Just like it though.
Yeah, I'd be okay with Martinez.
It's 4,700 for 3 outfielders, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, figure that one out. You could.
We'll put the full lineup in the Discord for you as usual. If you're not in the Discord, you get the link in the description of the show. And if you want to sign up for 7 days for free, get that right there. QR code fantasyalarm.com/win, promo code Let's Go. Get that first month for less than $20. We appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have the preview show tonight. We'll see you then.